Yeah, I think the key thing is to have something unique to say. So when you see a HARO call that you think you can respond to, don't respond immediately with your first thought, because everyone else is going to have the same first thought. So you have to try to kind of think outside the box. And it's been really doing really well for me. I've gotten links on like Reader's Digest, Forbes, all kinds of sites that are really high authority. So.
Okay. And when you first started doing this, did you make any like sort of classic mistakes that maybe you could help people avoid if they're going to try out HARO?
Initially, I was typing really, really long answers, which, these are journalists for the most part, and they want kind of bite-sized snippets that they can just, kind of plug and play for their articles. So I think it's important to keep it concise. That was something I struggled with at the beginning. Anyone who's read my blog post knows how wordy I am, so.
The English major coming out.
Yeah.
Do you have any like guide for the number of words where say maybe 100 to 300 words or anything where you found it particularly like the sweet spot?
No, I haven't really boiled it down to anything like that. Basically, when I answer, I try to say, who I am and why I should be basically answering the question for them. A quick answer to what they're asking, and then just I'm happy to follow up with any, questions you might have. Just let me know, and that's it. I keep it super short.
Awesome. And do you have any conversion rate that seems to be hitting where you're kind of reliably getting a certain number of links?
I think it really varies by your niche. Like I said, I have around 20 sites, and I'm trying to use HARO for all of them. I have some in niches where I've got no links just because there aren't that many calls in those niches. I have some where it seems like almost every time I answer, I have a success rate with it. I wrote about it on my blog, running it as a test for a month with SkipBlast, and I feel like I got around a 40% success rate with that. And anyone who's been on my site knows it's not very professional. It's full of GIFs and expletives. So
Yeah,
you could
it's
probably
good.
do a lot better.
Yeah, and I checked out that article and checked out some of the links that you mentioned, and I was like,
Mhm.
I should have been doing this for the last several years,
Yeah.
but I just always wrote it off. I never really paid much attention. So
Yeah, you'd probably do even better because, no GIFs, no expletives, right?
yeah, they're well hidden in there. So one thing I forgot to ask earlier, when you're building out the sites and you're getting ready to sell them, it sounds like the threshold before you sell them was around $1,500 or
Right. Yeah.
so. About how long does that typically take? Just average life cycle for you growing the site to that level or beyond?
I would say 15 to 18 months has been the average for me in recent years. Used to be able to do it in about a year, but now I would say 15 to 18 months.
And you hang on to them a little bit longer, and typically they'll continue to grow. Is that kind of the idea?
Right. Yeah. 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 Like I've started holding on to them longer, so now I'm shooting for maybe like 4 to 5 thousand per month before I flip. And so I expect that to take 24 to 36 months, depending on the niche.
Okay. And then I'm just like doing the math in my head. You have a few sites going at a time, 2 to 3 years. So potentially you could sell, a few of these once they mature per year. Of course, you have a lot of taxes, you have broker
Right.
fees and some other things, but generally, like you can kind of reliably aim for that, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's the goal. That's why I kind of start them in waves so that I always have something to sell if I want to sell it, maybe quarterly or twice a year or something.
Okay. And algorithm updates are obviously very scary. You have a lot of sites, so I suspect when a big update rolls around, some go up, some go down, and
Right.
you probably feel okay with that versus some of the other updates that used to just hit everything
Yeah.
seemingly. So, how do you deal with these algorithm updates just mentally?
I just don't even worry about it. I just kind of keep my head down and keep doing what I'm doing. I've been fairly lucky in not getting really hit by anything too bad until this most recent update in May. One of my sites was doing like over 100,000 a month and dropped to like 8,000 a month. And it's completely white hat. It had been all like white hat guest post links and HARO links, and so there was nothing out of the ordinary with it. I haven't touched it since that May update. It's been slowly recovering on its own each time Google does something. So I probably won't even touch it till the end of the year. So.
Are you continuing to, do what you were doing? Were you adding more content and getting links as normal?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's all I'm doing. It's a site that I've had for a few years, so it's probably due for me to do a thorough content audit on it. But I don't have time to do that right now with my other sites. So, but it's something I'll do.
Gotcha. I find these newer updates just more holistic. So there's really, there's not a thing you can do. And is that your take as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you're already doing everything right anyway, then it's probably a fluke. So just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll probably be fine when the next update rolls around.
Yeah,
So,
I had a couple of those actually with Niche Site Project where basically I neglected the site and
mhm.
it just came back from the next update. I mean, I literally did nothing. I did less than I was doing, just the timing wise, and didn't
Right.
publish anything, no new links, and it came back. So I don't know what's going on. And yeah, for me, Niche Site Project, there's no like weird links going on other than perhaps the random negative SEO that
All
hits us
right. Yeah.
occasionally. So,
Yeah.
have you had any negative SEO experience?
Oh, yes. I used to have a site in the water softener niche, and they are brutal with negative SEO in that niche.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Is it? I guess it's just like bigger like
Oh,
e-commerce
yeah.
kind of companies with SEO
Well, no,
outsourced,
it's
or
other affiliate sites because the ticket price on water softeners is so high.
oh,
So it was a very lucrative niche.
gotcha.
So
Did you figure out how to deal with it, or what was your method to handle the negative SEO?
I just went after more high authority links to kind of push those down so they didn't really count for much. And that seems to work. I mean, I have the PBN site that I have as a test site has been getting negative SEO for probably more than a year now. I just checked it this week and it's still getting it coming in, but it's not hurting it at all. So
And do you try to actively disavow those links when they come in, or do you just let it be?
not for the test site because it's a test site, so I'm just kind of seeing what happens. But I actually did have a site. I used to be in the gaming niche, which I'm talking about publicly because I have a non-disclosure thing where I can't compete or whatever. And it got hit, and it didn't have hardly any links except for junk spam links, and I got a manual penalty for links, and so I had to disavow them to get back into the number one spot again. It was crazy. So.
How long did it take to recover after submitting the disavow file?
It was like 2 months. Yeah, it was crazy.